This is season 2 of Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole.
Yeah, we rise, we thrive. Yeah, we step in our light. Feel good, we alive. Everything aligned. Yeah, we rise and thrive with Dr. J. Nicole.
There's a version of success that looks effortless, it looks polished, it looks intentional, it looks elevated. But what we don't always see is the pressure behind it, the quiet expectation to get everything right, to maintain the standard and never drop the ball. And over time, what starts as excellence can slowly become perfectionism, not because we want to be perfect, but because we don't want to fail. So today's conversation is about releasing that weight. It's about understanding that God never called us to be perfect. He called us to be faithful. He called us to be diligent. Today, I am joined by someone who embodies excellence at a high level, known as Mr. Style and Performance. Jarrell Green has built a brand rooted in precision, presence, and curated experiences through the Style and Performance experience. From stages to global spaces, what he creates is not just seen, but it is felt. And today, we're going beyond the experience and into the person behind it. Jarrell, welcome to Rise and Thrive.
Thank you, Dr. J. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for joining for sure. And I love that we're able to have this conversation after knowing each other 20 plus years and just seeing you grow and you do your thing. And, it makes me proud, right? And so I love to share stories, but I also love to share stories, especially from my family, my Bison family, right?
Yes.
We're an awesome group of people, right?
That we are. Speak
Yes.
the truth, shame the devil.
Okay. So for anyone who doesn't know you, please introduce yourself. Tell them who you are.
Well, yes, I am Jarrell Green, better known or more popularly known as DJ CEO, professional DJ. Now, this marks 20 years in the business for me. I'm born and raised Brooklyn, New York, all day. Proud Howard grad. My background is in television and film, degrees in broadcast journalism, and all that. But my calling was very clearly for me to serve the people and connect with people through music.
Okay.
And I've been obedient in that regard again for 20 plus years now. Well, 20 years now officially. Yeah, I can be credited, and if I'm not, I will speak up and say all these DJs that you see that are dressing snazzy and fancy now. This is something I was doing 20 years ago when DJs were just showing up in hoodies and t-shirts. I was being very intentional with my branding and how I presented myself, but all at the same time, never losing sight of my purpose and my responsibility as a DJ, right? I didn't substitute the brand for the calling. I just married the two. So
Yeah, I love that, marrying the two and bringing it together. So, like, speaking of style, right? Because every time I see you, you know how to put a look together, right? And what influenced your style?
So to be honest, in the very beginning, I didn't. Well, I've always been someone who's had a certain substance of style, even when I was
Okay.
young. And my mom would tell me I'm always certain looks I'm always going after. But when just being like a child of hip hop and
Uh-huh.
kind of growing up in Brooklyn, the sophisticated look wasn't something that I had a lot of examples to learn from. So when I first started to apply it to myself as a DJ brand, I wouldn't say that I had great style. I think
Okay.
I was just locking into a certain fashion look. So even the suits that I wore, they didn't necessarily fit right. Right. The shirt,
Okay.
I was shopping like I was shopping for urban apparel, but like, the shirt might be too big. The suit, how they say back in the day, you're looking like a soup sandwich, right? That's, that's how it kind of started. But I stood out regardless because again, like no other DJs were even attempting to dress up, right? So it didn't. The suit by itself stood out. But then I will always give credit to a good friend of mine, Gardy, friend of mine back here in Brooklyn. He was the first. He was the first one. He was like, "No, I got to take you shopping He says, "'Cause like I see what you're trying to do, but you're not doing it right. Like you have to dress according to your size and your shape and your physique." And again, we were, coming off the oversized throwback jerseys and
Right.
all this stuff, and following Jay-Z of all people. I don't know why we were doing that, but buying French cuff shirts that were just too big. Like you can slip your hand out the sleeve without unbuttoning the cufflinks. Like it was bad. And so he kind of taught me because he's a stylist himself and
Okay.
a personal shopper. So he's like, nah, this is what you need to do. And he introduced me to Zara. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a lot of money at the time. So Zara was
Uh-huh.
perfect,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
lane where I could get some luxury looking and feeling items at an affordable price. And that's what really changed. And that's when I really started to go, okay, now I know what the fit is like. Now I could just be the creative self that I am and just put some fits together. So I give a lot of credit to Gardy for helping me find my style.
You know what I love about that is that you were doing what you felt organically, and
Mhm.
when you just move and you move like that, like, who you need shows up. People see it, they recognize it. So like you said, he saw you and he was like, "Listen, just come on.
Yeah,
Let's do this. I got you."
absolutely.
I love that, like, we're supported along the way.
Yeah.
So, before the stages, before the travel, and
Mhm.
everything that people see now, like, who is Jarrell Green, and what really shaped you in the beginning?
Just as a person, or are you saying musically
Yeah,
as a
you can
person?
do both, right? Because of the person first.
Yeah. So I mean, it all definitely comes back to my household. I was fortunate to have two really great parents. In a sense, they just a family in general. Like I had my
Mhm.
parents, right? But my grandparents, my older cousin, aunts and uncles, like it was really a village. And then my village within my community, right? So this church, I pretty much was raised in Emmanuel Baptist Church, is right across the street from my house. So I spent a majority of my upbringing there, but not necessarily in the religious aspect because the church was like black churches, particularly back then, were very much a cornerstone of the community. So, like, I went to
Mhm.
preschool there. I went to after school there. I did Boy Scouts there. They had a program called Teen Canteen, which was um, pretty much a community group for like the young teens in the neighborhoods. And they come and we'd have conversations about stuff that teenagers are dealing with. And then we'd have parties and, you know, trips and all of this type of stuff. So they played a huge part in it as well. So again, it was just all community. And so I learned a lot about leadership going through that process. I was always, I will always give credit to my father for my introduction to, or for my love for music. Let me say that. For my love for music. I watched him. I mean, I'm like 4 or 5 years old, and, my aunts and uncles would come over on a random Friday, right? Just to hang out with their older brother, and he just would play music, and we all would just dance in the living room all night long, right? So that was like my introduction. Like I knew the impact of music, and I knew what it would do. And then also, and with that sports, a lot of people don't know. I played a year of college basketball before I came to Howard.
Okay.
My dad played semi-pro baseball, so they always had me involved in like team sports. But also, like my social life was like I always had people around me and friends. So I think at an early age, I was being shaped to be a leader.
Uh-huh.
I was being shaped to be a community organizer. That's what a DJ really is. If people don't understand, that's what we do, right? The crux of it all is what we do. So that was like my life. I had my aunts live, I've had aunts, grandparents, cousins, god sister, everybody lived with us at one point, right? So this is also showing me when I'm young what it means to be of service to others. People are in need,
Okay.
boom. Like show you know, this is what you do for the people that you love. So these are all the things that are kind of shaping me to be like who I am, a person of immense love, a capacity to love and to serve. I didn't realize though until I was maybe this past year that everybody isn't necessarily given those gifts or those training wheels at an early age, right? I never thought I
Yeah.
was kind of special in that regard. I was just like, yeah, y'all don't do this, y'all don't, show up for, whatever. You don't have passion for people, right? But no, that's who I was being shaped to be. And a lot of that comes from my parents. I'm constantly hosting and just having family and friends around. Again, the music is tied into that. Again, being a part of team sports is a part of that because you have to figure out a way to work with other individuals and personalities. These are all things that, as I'm saying them now, as a revelation of how it has shaped me to be as great as I am at what I do, because all of these things are transferable. Like as a DJ, I'm constantly dealing with different people and personalities and trying to get everyone on one accord so we can have a successful whatever it is, right? That's been my life, my entire life.
Wow, I love that. I love that and how community played a part in that. And it was just modeled. And so you soaked it up from the environment. And I imagine there were also intentional conversations, but just having that and seeing that and coming into the awareness of like, you know what, everybody didn't have it. And it can make you appreciate it that much more.
Yeah. 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 And I don't, to be honest, there weren't a lot of conversations that I remember, especially not from my parents. I mean, I think maybe through the teen canteen process, and things of that. And then I had like great, like my people, you know, technically they're my best friends, but they're my brothers. Their parents, pouring into me as well. But I don't remember there being a lot of conversations. It just learn by example.
Yeah.
Leading people, the men around me led by example.
Life moves fast, and somewhere between work responsibilities and routine, a lot of people stopped experiencing it. That's why I'm creating something different, curated global experiences designed for people who want beauty, culture, luxury, connection, and moments that are unforgettable from the second you arrive. Not just another trip, the kind of experience that stays with you long after you come home. This is your sign to join the VIP list before destinations are released. Link in bio. Quick pause. I've been loving Canvas Beauty, a Black woman-owned brand all about confidence and self-care. Shop canvasbeautybrand.com/Genie3 and use code Genie3 to save. Now back to Rise and Thrive.
And
Okay,
so
so let's
that's
talk a little
what
bit more about that, right? And what success and what influenced your standard of excellence growing up. And it sounds like that's the direction you were going in. Talk about those men that influenced you.
well, I think all of them influenced me in various ways. And for me, it wasn't intentional. I think it was just a natural process for me to become the sum of them, right?
Mm,
So, like, my dad is a model of consistency and hard
that's
work.
super important.
That's who consistency, hard work. Get up at the same time every day, do this, do that. Like, I'm gonna provide for my family. I'm going like consistency, right? So I got that from him. My cousin, who's more like my older brother, we've always been super, super close. He really maybe might have been my introduction as far as men are concerned, my introduction to kind of style, but
Okay.
also how to be very charismatic, right? And to kind of use my personality to get to the things that I want. I learned a lot from him in that regard, and also just to like live.
Mm,
He's always been like, I'm going with a good, bad, or indifferent. It don't matter. Like I'm going after it, uh, with unconditionally, right? So I got
mm-hmm.
that from him. One of my best friends, Jason, his dad was a principal. I'm growing up, so like the importance of, even though everybody like instilled the importance of education, I always looked at him more as an intellect, right? So the importance of being a thinker, like I got that from him. One thing I loved about Emmanuel, when you think really, when the biggest issue when it comes like Christianity is this holier than thou kind of approach and
Yeah.
missing the whole point in how to connect with people and whatever. But Emmanuel's always been one of those. Ain't nobody in here perfect.
Yeah.
Starting from the pastor on down, right? And we're all just trying to get it right. And so they were very nurturing in that regard. And so to see like the clergymen or even young men who were like mentors to us and then become clergymen, like to watch their journey right? But I think it was very impactful on me and how I incorporated God into my life and how I lived on a daily basis, right? It wasn't Bible thumping, toting. It was really kind of uh, uh, a lesson in morality and grace and fairness and forgiveness and all of these things, right? So I got a lot of that from them. So that's, I like I said, I got a little bit from everybody. And I think I've just subconsciously, and I'm grateful for that. It's just I just decided to apply all these things because some of the things that I learned, particularly from like my older cousin was like my brother, like this young black kid from the project, he was a womanizer, right? That's what he was, right? He was, and not in a sense of like, because that term is so heavy. Like he was single, but he was just doing his thing. But in that, I watched how he dealt with women in person, right?
Okay.
And from that, I learned how to be affectionate and loving and gentle with women
Okay. I
because,
mean, because to be a womanizer and a
right,
good one, you have to be able to create that
you have
experience
to
and make people
make you feel
feel, you
comfortable.
know?
Exactly. So I got that
Yeah.
from him. My dad it was not an affectionate person. He was
Okay.
a, this is the things, right? He showed his love in action and, again, food on the table, roof over your head, clothes on your back. I'm there for every game. Like he showed his love in that regard.
Yeah.
As far as I did not see that, I didn't see the affection and the softness towards my mom.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like he just as a family, I'm gonna make sure we good, right? But I didn't see him love up on my mom and all that type of stuff. And also another person to give credit to, and that is my maternal grandfather, my maternal grandparents. They were
Okay.
all over each other all the time, right? So to see that, to know like, no, this is something that you can do. So again, I just subconsciously or maybe intentionally and just didn't realize at a young age, I was just picking the best out of everybody and just applying it to myself.
Yeah. Wow. You had quite the village for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and of course,
Yeah.
and over time during the journey, I picked up bad habits and bad things as well. You know what I mean? Like you pick it all up, but I think the total sum of me
Yeah.
that makes me who I am, I think I picked the best of everybody that was around me. So
Yeah, and finding our way to our true self, right? We try on some things don't fit, or they
yeah,
fit for a season. Sometimes it hurt, it's too tight,
yeah,
and we learn, right?
yeah.
But those foundational things were still there.
Mhm.
So when we think about your career and as it began to grow, when did you start to feel like a pressure to maintain a certain standard?
I think I always put pressure on myself.
Okay.
I think that's just something. It could be because I'm an Aquarius. It could be multitude of things. But I've always put that pressure on myself to be who I say that I am. And that pressure, I don't think I don't think it feels like pressure for me because it's such a normal way of being, excuse me, for myself. So even like only I would say only when I moved, it might have been when I moved to Vegas or maybe right before I moved to Vegas, is when I started to add more diversity even to my style.
Okay.
Right? Because when I came in, because nobody was doing anything I was doing, it was like suits, suits and variations of suits, right? It was the tie, maybe the vest, maybe a three-piece, maybe just the vest. Like that was it. You know what I mean? And then over time, I was like, no, this can't be that, right? This has to be more, right? And then I just started to kind of develop my own style, but there was never any pressure in it. It was just more so like I always like to look good, period.
Right.
As a DJ, there's just no pressure in doing something that you love. That's what it is. Like I never felt like, oh, I got to get this right or I got to do this because people are gonna think like, no. Like I think it's because I've always been guided supernaturally. I almost want to say,
Yeah.
and it's to kind of go in and just use your gifts. I've over like during the pandemic, I gained a greater understanding of why I've been chosen to do what I do. So now I'm very much aware of my approach. Which, if there were any pressure, there's absolutely none now because I'm chosen, right? That's how I look at
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm chosen. So, but I think before it was always like, nah, like I just love DJing. Like I think because I care for it so much, and people are surprised when I tell them this. Before every set, I'm nervous, like a little bit. Like in my head, I'm just like, oh, what if I forget how to DJ? It's such a weird thing. But I had it when I played ball too. Like before every game, I was nervous, and then once the ball goes up, I know what I'm doing here, right? It's the same thing with DJing. Once I play the first record, I'm like, okay, I got it, and I move forward and I do what I do. So yeah, I don't think there was ever been any pressure. I just
Okay.
think I loved what I do. So my good friend who I get really, he's another person who's really my brother, who without him I don't really have a DJ career. He always says like, I know how to do everything well. And I tell him that is not true. I just
He
only
says that
do
about you?
Yeah, and I tell him
Okay.
I only do things that I know that I can do well. You're never gonna
Okay.
see me
That's a
doing
good
things
strategy.
that I can't do well because that's not
Okay.
my place. That's not where I'm supposed to be, right? I only do the things that I'm genuinely called to do, right? And even before I understood it as a calling, like if something is attracting me to do it, I'm going to do it. And every time that I follow that feeling, I'm really good at what I do. But you'll only catch me doing things I'm good at.
So when do you first remember that following? Because some people are not that tapped in.
I don't that I don't think I ever paid attention to it
Uh-huh.
until, I mean, this probably within the last 10 years.
Okay.
Like I don't think I was aware that that's what's happening. I can look back on it and go, "Oh, this is why," right? Because why didn't I want to go do this other thing? Why didn't I want to go, you know, play football? Why didn't I like you go want to go? I just like, nah, that's not where I'm supposed. I never at the time I wasn't saying that's not where I'm supposed to be. I just didn't. It didn't pull me enough to want to do it, right? Like my mom for years was like, you should model, and I was just like, okay, like if somebody comes to me and is like, "Hey, I want you to be in the shoot," I'll be in the shoot. I don't I don't feel pulled enough to go in that direction that I'm going to go through the process of auditions and getting these photos done and getting a lookbook. I don't care enough, and it's not calling me enough to want to do that. I just
Okay.
don't, right? Same thing with acting. She said the same thing with acting. And I'm like, yo, if somebody asks me, they want me to be in it, they go, "Hey, we want you to do this," I will do it. If you're asking me to go out on I don't care enough to do that, right? DJing was different. DJing and basketball, those are the two things that's always been. I can't even walk on a basketball court and not want to touch a basketball and shoot. I don't care what I'm wearing. Like I need to. That's how much my
Yeah.
love is for it, and it's the same way with DJing. Like I can't stay away from it. So
Yeah.
I never. So it wasn't the spiritual aspect of it. I was completely unaware of it until maybe about 10 years ago.
Listen, now that you're aware, like that changes things. And
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to remember when I was like, oh no, because like I remember seeing like over the years before, like where I saw you doing some TV stuff at some point, but then
Uh-huh.
I saw you really locking in with the DJ stuff. And then I was like, oh no, 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 he legit. Like you were in like Moscow or something. Where did you
Yeah,
go?
I was in Russia. Yeah, yeah. I was in
Yeah.
Moscow in a city called Ijevsk. Yeah. Mhm.
And like, how did that even come about?
So it all stems from a good friend of mine, Michael McConnell. Him and I were doing a Monday night party in New York, a weekly Monday night party called the Influence Series. This was before there was any term called influencers and people
Right.
self-labeling themselves. It was none of that, right? It was called Influence Series. He was a brand ambassador for Belvedere, and they had an influencer program in which the brand ambassadors would just, go out, do activations, things of that nature. So he needed some activations. At the time, I was just becoming more business savvy and aware of like how much brand partnerships can benefit you.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, yo, let's do something together. Let me get you. He said, yo, you found me a spot. We could do something. So like within like 24 hours, no, it was less than that. It was like within like 2, 3 hours, I found a spot and we started the Influence series. This is about 2009. I wanna say.
Okay.
So we were doing it. It was one of the best, like, you could ask anybody, it was one of the premier, like, New York City Monday night nightlife parties, and it wasn't, like, late night, it was, like, from 6 to 11, something like that, but it was
Okay,
just
that's prime. People can go to work.
perfect. It was perfect, but we were young, so it for us, we would party all night and go to work, and that didn't matter, but
Yeah.
it was at that time, nobody was like, because most after work parties were, like, on a Thursday. And we
Right.
didn't fashion it as an after work party. We really fashioned it about it was an industry party. That's was pretty much what it was. It was an industry party.
Okay.
So we're doing really well. A friend of ours was like, "Yo," she was working for the one group who they under their portfolio was Bagatelle and the Gansevoort Hotel and things of that nature. But she was working for them out in Turks and Caicos. So
Mm.
she was like, "You guys got to come out here and host a weekend in Turks and Caicos." So it was like, "All right, bet." So we did that. When we were out there, we met this couple. Funny enough, the dude lived like 5 minutes from me in Brooklyn. We had never met before, right?
Wow.
So, we all became cool. I DJ, the whole time out there. About a year or 2 later, his wife reaches out to me and she's like, "Hey, would you be interested in going to Moscow to DJ in Moscow?" I mean, DJ in Russia. And I was like, "Hell yeah. Like, let's go." Like, whatever. I'm not It could be ignorance, it just could be the Brooklyn in me. It just could be my faith and the fact that everything's gonna work out, whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous about anything, and I was like, "Yes." It's like, boom, her dad owned this company, this really big eyewear company out there, really successful. They were celebrating their 20-year anniversary, and she had told him, like, "If you really wanna make this anniversary special, you need to bring in a DJ from America." And he said, "Okay." And she
Mhm.
said, "I know the guy." So she reached out to me. Boom, that was it. I was in Russia for, like, 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and I never once felt fear or uncomfortable. My head is always on the swivel, my antenna's always up because 'cause I'm a Brooklyn kid. I was born in the
Yeah,
'80s,
you're
raised in
from
the '90s,
Brooklyn.
so I'm
Yeah.
always like, whatever, but it was a wonderful time. I had an amazing time out there. And yeah, and so those are just kinda just following on my heart that, this is what needs to happen. So again, but everywhere I go, I treat every set like an audition because there's always
'Cause it
somebody
kinda
there.
is.
Right. Somebody there has never heard me before,
Yeah.
right? So I don't take any nights off. And then because of that, they like, yo, so they flew me out to Russia and did that. So yeah.
Yeah. And another highlight, because Imma brag on you a little bit or give you the space to do it, right, and talk about the facts and your experience. You
Mhm.
also had a residency in Vegas. Talk to us
I,
a little bit about that.
I had multiple residencies in
There
Vegas.
we go.
Yeah. So my wife, um, and we were dating at the time, both living she was living in Queens, I was in Brooklyn. And we both had our fill of New York by this time. We were just over this city. And she was like, "I wanna move to Vegas." And I was like, "Why?" Like, "What?" Like, I'm like, "I'm in New York, I'm good." I was lying to myself, right? I was just like, "This" it just wasn't New York just wasn't serving us. And, so
Yeah.
finally I was like, "You know what? Let's do it." Right? And then, in 14, we went out to visit and also again, so the New Yorker in both of us was kinda like we were looking around and we were like, "Yo, I think we could take this town for everything that it's got." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how we was looking at it. So the next year we moved out. So she, my wife's a makeup artist, and at the time she was working
Mhm.
with Mac. So she just transferred within the company.
Okay.
And then I didn't know anybody out there. I knew one person out there, was a friend of mine. We grew up together in Brooklyn. She had just moved out there
No
to live.
Howard connects out there?
I didn't know any. I didn't connect with my how people that were out there until later. I didn't like saying
Okay.
like I didn't know anybody. Like I didn't know. I knew one person like
Okay.
that I knew. So I moved out there like 3 or 4 months before Shireen came out.
Mhm.
So I stayed with my friend and her family, whatever, for a little bit. Uh, and it was tough.
Yeah.
Vegas is a different animal, and I didn't think about that. I'm thinking I could move like I move in New York. I could just pull up on people, boom, 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 and make something happen. Vegas is a very different place. It is its own world. It doesn't operate by any rules that anybody else does. And then
Okay.
also it's very corporate, which people don't really understand. Like it's not like in New York, you could just walk into a venue, talk to a manager, and work something out. It's all corporate. Like you could go to the club, ain't nobody at that club. The club ain't open until the club is open because they all have corporate offices that are off the strip, and it's just a very different thing.
Okay.
So it was rough. It was really rough. I didn't have any gigs out there for about 6 to 8 months. So it was a couple times I was flying back to New York, do some gigs in New York, come back,
Mhm.
things of that nature. And then what happened? And then so my same friend Mike, who I did the influence series with, he connected me with this guy, EJ. I mean, EJ, that's my brother. I mean, I love him to life. That is my brother. So he just like he would just take me around and introduce me to people and have me out and just, looking around, just connecting with people. And so off of that, I started to build. And then the beautiful thing, downtown Las Vegas, which is the original strip, Fremont Street,
Yeah. Yep.
right? They are kind of like New York in a sense. So I had emailed this spot called the Beauty Bar, same beauty bar that was in New York, and I think there's one in Miami too, if I'm not mistaken, or Chicago, something like that. Whatever the
Mhm.
case is, emailed them. The guy hit me back. He was like, "Yo, come up, let's meet or whatever." So I met and talked with them. You know, my skill set and the things that I've done doesn't mean anything to them. It's because you got to just think about it like this: since the advancement and introduction to technology as it is today in the DJ space, everybody's a DJ, right? So who like you say you would like, are you really that good? Right? So he's like, all right, let's see what you can do. So they put me on they asked me what night I wanted. So I'm like, yo, give me a Sunday, right? Who's asked for a Sunday? Give me a Sunday. Okay.
Okay.
So they gave me a Sunday, and I mean, I tore that place down. And they
Why'd
were
you pick
like,
a Sunday?
so part of it, I'm still in my New York mindset. In New York, hottest party nights is Sunday through Wednesday. Thursday through Saturday, that's for amateurs. That's the weekend warriors. Oh, you gotta nah. The real parties with the real talent and the real people, that's Sunday through Wednesday. That's what it is.
Okay.
So I was like, yo, give me a Sunday. So they gave me a Sunday, killed it. They were like, yo, and of course I'm coming with my New York swagger approach to even how I play. And they was just like, yo, so that became my first residency in New York. They had me there. They moved me to Wednesdays because they wanted to do
Okay.
Wednesdays. So I was like, perfect. So I was there every Wednesday, and then after a while, they was like, we got to put you on Saturdays too, like because you just right. So I was there like Wednesdays, and I would do like maybe one Saturday a month, something like that. But the cool thing about it was that all the people that worked on the strip, they hung out downtown. Like, they didn't hang out on the strip. They wanted to be
Yeah.
away from that. They wanted to be so then I started to build relationships off of that. I started to meet different people, and then I had an opportunity to do a DJ battle, which I got robbed and because everybody who was there was like, "Nah, you should have won." But I was okay because me doing it, I got so much respect and built so many relationships from
That
other DJs that
exposure.
were there. So I was like, "All right, cool." So that started to build, and then I moved out there April 20th, 2015. February 14th of 2016, I headlined LAX. So less than a year, right?
Yeah.
I got to headline a major nightclub on the Las Vegas Strip. So I just put in the work, and then after that, it was just snowball effect. And then so I held residencies at Dre's After Hours. I held a residency at Hyde inside the Bellagio. I held a residency at the Dorsey inside the Venetian. Aquatic Pool Club inside the Palazzo. I had a couple of well, I'm drawing a blank because I had a lot of them. Um, I had a lot. I had a lot. I had a lot of residencies, and it was great. And then over time, oh yeah, on the record inside Park MGM, I've done a couple sets at Bruno Mars's club, Pinky Ring. So no, I've been grateful and fortunate in that regard. So yeah, I just went out there and I just went hard. That's it, and I succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit more and just like faith and calling, being protected and chosen, like you were in Sin City, as they call it,
Correct.
right? And they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So like how did you stay grounded during that time and like meeting all of these different people and heaven knows what maybe you did see or heard of, you know?
I just kept my eye on the prize, right? And it is Sin City. A lot of temptation out there. I'm grateful because I was out there with my wife, who always, she keeps me balanced. And it's not. I'm not going to say it was easy. I'm not going to say there weren't bumps in the road because there definitely were. But I kept my eye on the prize. Like I came out there for a reason. Wasn't to be all buddy buddy with everybody. I don't care about being famous. I don't need anybody to label me as cool. I am who I am. I'm coming for what I want. I want to dominate. Part of this is the competitiveness in me as an athlete.
Yeah.
So I just kept my eye on the prize. And also, like I was determined. Again, my spiritual growth really started during the pandemic. That's when it really started. Like I always believed in God, always had faith, but I think it was just kind of a thing that was there. It wasn't a thing that I nurtured. It wasn't a thing that I relied on. It was just like, nah, it has to be a God. That's it. That's the beginning and the end, right? Um, when I went out there, I said, "There's no way I'm losing." Like, I just kept saying, like, imagine me losing. It's just crazy. There's no way I'm losing. That was my entire approach. That was my entire thought process. There's no way that I'm going to lose. I'm too gifted. I'm too talented. I work too hard. I jumped out the window. Like we moved to Vegas. I don't know nobody out here. Like I don't have an option. Losing is not an option. That was my approach. So
Okay.
I didn't allow myself the opportunity to get caught up in what Sin City had to offer. Right? Was I outside a lot? Absolutely. Right? I had to be outside. Like, you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
had to whatever.
You were the soundtrack to
Yeah.
outside.
And you're right. And I saw a lot. Yes, I saw a lot of wild and crazy stuff. But I get to DJ like in the internet entertainment capital of the world. Like and major, I'm good. Like I've had like really, really, really big name DJs like come up to me during sets like, yo, dude, you are ridiculous. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you are very much like that. That's all I don't care about all that other stuff. Like I'm not because I wasn't and I also wasn't a kid. Like if I moved out to Vegas when I was 21, it might have been a whole different story.
Yikes.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'd have moved out there if I was single. It might have been a whole different story. When I moved out there, I was 34,
Okay.
right? 2015? Yeah, 34. I was 34. I'm sorry. I was 34. My priorities are just different at that point. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? This is an opportunity of a lifetime, and I seized it. This is that simple.
So my mind is also thinking about all the people you talked about that you took all the pieces from and how that prepared you to go in with the work ethic, the consistency, not being afraid of hard work. Cause you said there were like 8 months where you were just, and you
Yeah,
didn't give up.
I had to get a job. I was just, oh my God. I was so like, Jesus, I had to get a job. I got a job. You know what I'm saying? I was working with Job Corps for real. But
The
also,
way, hold on. I'm stuck on the way that you said a
I
job.
had to get a job because I firmly believe everybody deserves the opportunity to do what they love for a living. And if you do what
Yeah,
you love for a living, it's not a job.
it's not
It's not
work.
work, right?
Correct.
So, but I had to do something to help bring money in because I'm out here with my woman. Come on, this goes to my father. Like, bro,
Yep.
you gotta you gotta provide, and it was tough. You know what I'm saying? It's like she was bringing in all the money for a good amount until I was able to kind of get the ball rolling. I had to get a
That's the
job.
real one. Shout out to Shireen.
Yo, no, she is as real as they come. So I had to get a job, and I got a job. And this is in the process of me getting. I think I had the job before I got the residency at Beauty Bar. Yeah, I had the job before I got the residency at Beauty Bar. Got the job. then got the residency and things. And I think I was at the job for maybe a year, the longest. It served its purpose because after that time, it was just like boom, I was on. It was on. Like now I was DJing like 5, 6, 7 nights a week. Some nights 2, 3 sets at different clubs. You know what I mean? So I was good at that point. But it was tough because this was home now, and I needed home to provide. I needed home to be a source of income, and so I had to work towards that.
Yeah. And so, what I kind of hear from you based on what you've been sharing is that, well, is there a difference? I guess I'll ask it as a question. Is there a difference to you between excellence and perfectionism?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just feel like the idea, like perfectionism, is an endless pursuit to a goal that is unattainable
Okay.
because perfection is not real, right? Outside
Correct.
of us, God is perfect. Outside of that, that's it,
That's it.
right? We will never be perfect, right? So for me, it's always been about excellence. Like even perfection, if there's a moment where I get a glimpse of me being perfect, it's
Hmm.
almost kind of like scary. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and also my wife gets on me because I always tell people I'm far more gifted than I am talented. Like what you've
Okay.
given me is and my gift is more powerful than my talent, right? My talent is my learned skill set. My
Yep.
gift, you can't. Like my gift is perfect. Let's say that.
I
My
mean, because
gift is
it's given
perfect
to you by
by
God.
God,
Yeah.
right? My gift is perfect. My talent is imperfect, right?
Okay.
So I don't press record because I just believe in my gift so much. Like no matter how great this set was, I'll do it again because this, I'm not relying on me. I'm relying on my gift, right? But she's like, no, you got to press record, and then whatever. So there are moments when I don't press record, right? Where I have sort of like an out of body experience where like, yo, this is absolutely perfect. And I'm like, "Oh, damn, I didn't press record," right? I hope you know what I mean? Like, that happens, right? There's moments of perfection, but perfection can never be sustained because we're humans. So that's just not possible. But excellence can always be sustained because it's just a matter of consistency and consistent discipline,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Relying on the things that you know, relying on your gift, relying on your talents, putting in the work. If you remain consistent and sharpening your tools, if you remain consistent on understanding what your purpose is, if you remain consistent or just being faithful to why you're in the positions that you're in, you will always rise to a level of excellence. You will always be excellent. But that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, right? Everybody's
Yeah.
got a 99 on the test, right? And then maybe the teacher might have wrote the word excellent, right? It ain't perfect because you didn't get 100, right? But it's excellent, right? Excellent. And I think for me, particularly as a DJ, my excellence resides on my impact on the people in front of me, right? Not necessarily my transitions, which are
They matter.
the best in the business, if I do say so myself, right? But the excellence doesn't, from a skill set, it does, but from a purpose and a calling, my excellence rests and it lives inside my impact on the people in front of me. How did I make you feel? Did you feel better than you did when you came in, right?
Yeah.
Did I bring joy to your life? That's where my excellence resides. And so there's a very clear difference. And I can't be perfect. I don't believe that I can be perfect in that, but I could just be excellent in that because
Yeah.
I put the people first.
I love that distinction because there are a lot of people who are actually chasing perfection, but mislabeling it as excellence to justify why they are not doing it or why they're so particular and everything has to be a certain way. And I need you to do us all a favor and just please press record every time. Okay?
I have now my wife's friends, like they see me out, they'll walk up to me, did you press record? Like it's like
Seriously.
it's a thing. I don't I'd be lying if I don't battle with the idea of perfection in other aspects. Like I produce music, right? So it's like, this ain't right. Oh, this is, perfection keeps us from sharing our work, really,
Right.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's an excuse not to share your work. But I think, like I said, excellence resides in like the consistency of the discipline. I think the perfection again is more so if it feels right.
All right, beautiful people. If this episode has already blessed you in any sort of way, we ask that you like, subscribe, follow, share, and leave comments. Feedback helps this message reach the people who need it most. And if you're listening and thinking, I'm ready to go deeper in my healing journey, we invite you to join our school community where we continue these conversations between episodes. And it's an opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals committed to growth, healing, and purpose. Also, do not forget, you can shop the merch and also explore all things Evolve at evolvewithdrjnicole.com. If you love today's look and you're wondering about this hair, you can use my promo code with the link in the description to get 15% off with Eunice hair. That's UNICE. Thank you for rising with us. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Like if it feels right, then it's perfect from a spiritual standpoint.
Yeah.
Right. My wife and I have a podcast called How Does It Feel?
Yeah.
And we discuss music through the lens of memories, emotions, and spirituality.
Oh,
Music, like if it feels like, damn, this feels really good, then it's perfect. You don't need to touch it. Right. We look at perfect from a human analog standpoint about how this, if it feels right, then it
mm-hmm.
is perfect.
I love that because that is actually attainable, right? Like
Yeah.
that feeling.
It's
But
the
then
feeling.
sometimes you can't recreate certain things because you're not the same. The
Mm-mm.
people, what's happening around us, it's like, it's just it. It's that's,
That's why I said there's moments of perfection. And music is all
yeah.
about feeling. It's all if it feels right, it's perfect. You can change, put filters and all. Nah. If it feels right, it's perfect. Don't touch it. Don't do nothing to it no more. So that's kind of how I view it, with perfection excellence.
Yeah, love that. So, thinking about some of those other areas where you say you've had some struggles with perfectionism, how did that affect your peace?
Look, um, I still have dreams about games that I lost in high school, right? I'm very serious.
Yeah.
Some dreams are like when I'm asleep at night, some are daydreams. Like I think about they don't I don't think they disrupt my peace, but they don't ever leave my consciousness. I'm always like, damn, if I would have made that shot or if I'd have did this or if I'd have done that. That's I think about those things exist. And I think about them in decisions that I made in my life, whether it be like past relationships, conflicts or confrontations with friends and people. I always damn, if I would have just done this, if I'd have done that, right? And I guess enough of it was definitely will chip away at your peace because you're kind of just hanging on. So those things start to add up. So it's always been a thing. I don't know if you experience that. I don't know if anybody else experiences it, but I know for me, I'm always randomly having conversations or going through replays of moments in my life that have impacted me. They're not. I don't think some of them are small and insignificant in the sense of like to who I've been, what I've done in life and who I've become. But some of them are just because I feel right. I'm like, damn, I wish that didn't go that way. And what could I have done to do different to make that different, or decisions, or how I could have handled it. I have those thoughts all the time, but
Hmm.
I don't lose peace. But maybe in that moment, I'm not at peace. Maybe in
Okay.
that moment, I'm kind of like, it wears on me a little bit. And in those moments, I have to have conversations with myself. Oftentimes, I do take it to God. I'll pray about it. I'll have meditation. I'll do whatever I can to restore my peace. Um, and those moments aren't long lasting, right?
Okay.
Which is a beautiful thing. So in a sense, that's why I was like, it doesn't really affect my peace in that regard. When now I'm like depressed or angry or whatever for like weeks on end. But I just have those moments where it hits. It's like, damn, I think like something will trigger it. I start to think about it, and So and that happens from time to time.
Yeah, and some of that is normal. It's when you are doing it all the time, right?
Mhm,
And that literally, like that past oriented thinking is literally linked to depression. When people spend too much time there in the coulda, woulda, shouldas
mhm,
and not giving themselves compassion
mhm.
and no grace, right? And it sounds like you've used it in a healthy way to grow and evolve.
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. I had a conversation with a friend of mine this morning. My peace is everything. So yeah, there's a part of me because I'm human. Like if I walk away from something that like deep down I wanted to address and maybe address in an aggressive manner or really like check the situation. I'm like, damn, I should have. That's just the Brooklyn and the human, whatever. But I'm like, yo, I really look at the person or the thing that's in front of me.
Mhm.
I got way more to lose. I got way more at risk. This don't mean nothing to me. Go ahead. You got it. You
You
good.
got it.
You good. You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at it now. And I was telling my friend, I learned a lot of this from friends of mine who used to be in the street heavy,
Yeah.
like really violent individuals who would just be like, nah, you got it. I'm good. You know what I mean? People who spend time in prison. Nah, I'm good. Because they learn the hard way, but it's way too much. And people who insist and would much rather operate in intense, violent, dark emotions. You have your own healing to do. It's not my
Yeah.
cross to bear. Be good. I'm gonna be over here with my wife and my dog. You know what I mean? Like I'm good. You know what I mean? That
Yep.
peace over everything. You don't like me? Cool. All right. I'll be all right.
That's a them problem, right? Like, you
Yeah.
don't like me, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but not sorry, really.
Yeah. Hey, look, and I don't got nothing to say about you to anybody. I'm good. Thank
That's
you.
a different type of peace. That's a different type of like security and just like identity. Like, you know who you are. So you're not shaken by those things.
My wife says it, and a lot of people have said this about me. Say I possess a really quiet strength.
Mhm.
Because it's a lot of people, especially where I come from, like everything is on their sleeve. And it's like you can see the roughness. I don't not possess the same edge that they do. It's just I don't want to attract the things that I don't want. And if I walk around with that in front of me, if that leads before I show up, or even when I show up, I'm gonna get the things that I don't want. I'm gonna get the fights. I'm gonna get what I'm saying, the it's just it just doesn't make sense. Like I don't care for that. Really don't care for it. I want everybody to have peace, not just me. I want everybody to have peace.
And there's more than enough peace to go around. There's no
To go
limit
around,
on
yeah.
it.
Right.
But what I love about what you're saying is it challenges that match energy uh vibe or whatever, like the matching energy that people are doing. And it's like, that's actually very reactive and you're giving away your power. You're letting other people control you. You're giving them exactly what they want. And you can lose yourself in that. And you put
Absolutely.
so much at risk. Like you said, you have far more to lose.
Absolutely. It's not at the end of the day, whatever it is usually not that serious. Like if I ain't put hands on you or your family, your mom, your wife, your husband, like if I haven't like physically or emotionally violated you or anybody that you love, like this could be resolved a certain way. If you don't want to resolve it that way, then it doesn't have to be resolved. And I could just remove myself in the situation. You can sit in stupor and that anger and frustration all you want. But it's just like you not and again, it's healing that you have to do. And I'm not here to walk around and, help people heal. That's not I do that through music, right? I do that when I DJ, but I don't like care to help you get past whatever fog that you're living in. Like I don't It's too much going on outside in the world for me to add that to my plate.
Yeah. So I love the wisdom that's coming from this. And I want you to share a little bit more. So, like, now operating from this place of peace and knowing and understanding your calling, right? How do you handle maybe mistakes differently? And then what helps you to stay grounded and to return back to yourself?
How do I handle mistakes differently? That is a very good question. I think the biggest difference now is just giving myself grace and giving and if the mistake is coming from somebody else, some whatever thing outside of me, giving that person grace, right? And kind of just seeing where they are.
Uh-huh.
I took a over the past year, my wife and I both went through this. I guess you call it like a self help program, but it's so much deeper than that. It's called Momentum Education.
Okay.
They actually have it in DC, but we went through, and I just learned so much about myself, and I learned so much about people. And it's like you want to get angry at somebody not taking into account they're not in the same place that you at, right? Like somebody does something, and in your mind, like this is the dumbest thing. Like, how could you not, whatever, whatever. And we never take into account that I don't know who this person is or what they got going on, what's going on in their life, or where they came from, or how far behind they are in evolving and growing to be a better person. They made a
Yeah.
decision based on where they are, right? And oftentimes we don't have an opportunity to have those conversations, right? Because if whatever conflict comes up, we're just going to address this thing that created the conflict, right? Well, we're never going to sit there and be like, well, what happened to you when you were 8? Or why, how, did your daddy love you? Did your mommy? Like, we're never going to do that. That's not real life. Like, that's not what happens in the midst of
But
conflict.
that's how my brain works.
Right, but it's not in the middle of conflict when
Yeah.
tensions are like we're just not gonna have that conversation. And so now that I have the tool, like I think about that, and that doesn't mean that I'm void of like in the middle of it, like or whatever. I've had situations where like recently where I've kind of like, okay, you want to talk about this? Oh no, you want to talk? Cool. What am I gonna, what can I do? Right. I'm showing grace to this person because I'm not even blaming them. Not that not that they're void of fault, but I'm knowing that you made a decision based on all the information that you have. And not only do you not have enough information, you don't have proper information, right? I've had this conversation with my mother. I've had this conversation with myself when I think back of decisions I made in the past. Like I made these decisions based on where I was emotionally in life, what the knowledge that I had, what I thought about myself, how I viewed other. Like these are decisions I made those decisions based on that. And I would hope that somebody shouldn't give me the same grace.
Uh-huh.
Some people have, some people haven't. And I get it. I totally get it. But that's what it is. It's really giving people grace. Doesn't mean that they shouldn't be held accountable for the things that they've done. If I make mistakes, doesn't mean I shouldn't be held accountable for the things I've done. Now, that's not what I'm advocating, right? Decisions
Right.
have consequences. That's that, right? But the grace that is given affords me the opportunity to not only forgive, but not hold on to, right? It should give you grace. I'm relieved the responsibility of holding on to the anger that you caused me, right? The frustration that you caused me, the disappointment that you caused me, right? Depending on who it is. Disappointment is reserved for people that you really care for, right?
Right.
I don't get disappointed in strangers, right? I get angry with them, I get frustrated with them, but I don't get disappointed. People I love and care for, I get disappointed with. So yeah, I mean that is the biggest thing, the grace aspect. Is just giving people grace and it's understanding like everybody's not in the same space to see things the way that I see them, and that's fine, right? And it's okay. I pray that they eventually get there. And if they don't, right? Just because I walk away from something don't mean you tougher than me or stronger than me or I can't. The fact that I can walk away might suggest that I'm tougher and stronger than you.
Mhm.
You seem to be weak enough to fall privy to, your emotions as opposed to just kind of like, yo, just voicing. You can voice. I could be in the wrong completely, and you can just voice it to me in a manner that I can receive it. But if you don't want to do that, what can I do? That's kind of how. That's where I'm at with it right now, and how I handle mistakes, from myself and from other people. It's just
Yeah.
about grace. Now, granted, I'll probably be harder on myself than I am other people because, like, you know better. You shouldn't have done that. You know better. But I'm human, so I'm going to make mistakes.
Mhm,
Period.
mhm. That's so good. There was so much in there. I'm just gonna let that sink in.
Yeah.
Just gonna let that sink in. And as I just bring us to a close, I always end with a signature question.
Mhm.
If you could leave the audience with one powerful truth to help them rise and thrive, what would it be?
Damn. This discernment and patience might be the two most valuable things that you will ever have in life. Discernment and patience. You have to have discernment that's what's good for you and what's not. And the patience aspect is, I tell my wife all this. You you approach, you move with urgency in your process, but you have to have patience with the results. Because
Like that.
just because you're moving fast doesn't mean that the results are going to come fast. Because most of anything that we do in life is going to require community, right? Think about how long it took for us to get here, for us to do this interview,
I
right?
wasn't gonna tell your business.
You were urgent in your request, right? But I was just kind of all over the place and forgetting to do and whatever. So you know what I mean? If you really believe in something and you really believe this is what you're called to do and you believe this is the space you want to be, like yes, be urgent in your process, be urgent in your requests, be urgent in your actions, but you have to be patient with the results because we're not working on our time, we're working on God's time, right? God has to prepare somebody else to receive the thing that you're providing for them to be like, yes. He has to make them open to receive the thing that you. So you just got to be patient, and it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it like it's easy, but it is not, right?
You
But
can say that because you've learned it.
I've learned it right. But you got to stay urgent and aggressive with your process, but just be patient with the results. They're gonna come. They're gonna come.
That's so good, and that's actually something that I've learned from this platform, and what you're saying,
Mhm.
I've learned to just flow, and it's gonna be everything it needed to be, and so I've just learned, like, I didn't stress you out about it. I was just
Yeah,
like, "Okay, so when you said I saw you popped up in my inbox," I said, "He done went and scheduled, we ready, it's go
yeah. Nah,
time."
everything is everything in proper timing, and
Yeah.
I'm someone who I don't like to waste people's time. I don't like to, because I know how I am when I put a request in. Ideally, I want it to be like immediate, but I'll just understand again, just giving people grace. Like it doesn't work that way sometimes. You might miss something. Maybe it wasn't for you, right? We put so much value on the things that we miss, and we very rarely think about the idea like maybe that thing that you missed wasn't for you. Like not all opportunities are for you, right?
Correct.
So just like okay. Give yourself grace. Hey, maybe I did drop the ball on it. Okay, lesson learned. I'm not gonna drop the ball on the next one.
Yeah,
That's it.
yep. Yeah. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. And
Thank you.
there was so much in what you said that I know it's going to resonate with a lot of people. And for those of you listening, if this resonated with you, I want you to sit with this for a moment. I want you to reflect. Where in your life are you striving to get everything right instead of allowing yourself to receive grace? And then I want you to take action. This week, I want you to release one expectation that was never yours to carry.
Mm,
And then I want to affirm you. I am not defined by my performance. I am grounded in grace, and that is enough. So if you haven't already and this really spoke to you, make sure you subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and stay connected at www.evolvewithdrjnicole.com. Now, DJ CEO, if the people want to stay in touch with you, where
Yes.
can they find you? How can they have some of the style and performance experience?
Yes. Well, I encourage everyone to go to the website, imdjceo.com, subscribe to the newsletter. I put out a newsletter monthly, sometimes bi-monthly, depending on things that come in, but usually monthly. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at DJCEO. It's that simple. TikTok is at original DJCEO, because people out there jacking my swag. At original DJCEO. Those are only two places I really, from social media, that I care about is Instagram and TikTok. And then, of course, the website. Yes, because the website will take you to everything. That's why I always say go to the website.
Okay.
The website will put you on to my social media pages, my SoundCloud page where you can hear my mixes. You'll know where I'm DJing, if I'm popping up in your city, all of that. So go to the website, and that will take you everywhere you want to be.
Okay, and if you don't know, you can catch him every year faithfully during Howard Homecoming doing
Absolutely.
2, maybe even 3 sets in different places across the
It'd
city.
be more than that.
I meant in a day, though.
Oh, in a day,
Like,
in a day.
in
Easily.
one day,
This year, I'm
easily.
being intentional. I think
Okay.
I might scale back. I might keep it to like just 3 sets this year because I want to hang out with y'all. Like, I don't get to hang out with y'all at home.
Like, I
At
saw
all.
you in between, like, hey, quick
It's a
hug, catch
blessing,
up.
though. It's a blessing to be
Yeah.
in demand. I don't knock it at all. But and hey, at the end of the day, my homecoming experience ends up being completely free. So thank you to all that booked me. I appreciate you.
That's
Thank you.
real. That's real. But it's different being able to create the experience. So it goes so much deeper than that. So
Yes, absolutely.
thank you for being you. Keep operating in your calling. And I got to pull up on you at least one time. So
course.
if I don't see you until homecoming, I'm going to
Yes,
see you, right?
I'm gonna see you. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate
All
it.
right. So thank you all again for tuning in for another episode of Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole, where we rise in faith and thrive in purpose. See you next time.